everybody. Welcome back to another video. And I am going to become the Joker. Week 12 of the NFL season is done. And man, I know I didn't, but it truly feels like I got every single prediction wrong. Just dead wrong. Yeah, I'm definitely not happy with the outcomes this week. There were two of them, obviously, those Thanksgiving picks that I knew were long shots. What's funny is actually both the upsets did almost happen. Watching the games, they almost happened. I knew they were long shots, but man, this week went incredibly poorly for me. Let's get into it. First up, I said the Lions would beat the Bills, and they were so close. They were so close to doing it. They really were. But the Bills, they get the field goal to end the game in the fourth quarter. 45-yard field goal is good, and the Bills win. This game was headed to overtime. They get it right there at the end. The refs might have missed a face mask there at the end of the game that would have pushed Buffalo out of field goal range, but it is what it is. Not the only bad call this week. Unfortunately, my team kind of got hit with a bad call too, which some people could make the argument that it changed the outcome of the game. Final score 28-25 in favor of the Bills. Josh Allen gets 24 completions on 42 attempts. He gets 253 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, but he also had a rushing touchdown and 1 interception. Then Jared Goff, 23 completions on 37 attempts, 240 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. So it was a good game. It ends up being a 3-point game, which is crazy because Buffalo was a 9.5-point favorite. But I feel like with the offense that the Lions have, you probably should have smashed the under on that if you were betting this game. I saw there's this tweet. It says the Bills are the first team to win back-to-back games at Ford Field since 2016. So in the last 6 years, 2016 is 6 years ago. In the last 6 years, the Lions have not won back-to-back home games. That's wild. Okay. Next up, Patriots beat Vikings. That's what I predicted. And man, oh man, they almost did. They really almost did. That fourth quarter for New England was really bad. They were winning it up till that fourth quarter. In the third quarter, you have that 97-yard kick return touchdown. You're kind of setting the tone there. From that moment, I was like, oh no, the Vikings might pull this off and ruin my picks here. And in the end, it was a Kirk Cousins touchdown that wins them the game. Final score 33-26 in favor of the Vikings, but the Patriots were winning this thing through 3 quarters. They just couldn't hold on at the end. Mac Jones, 28 completions on 39 attempts, 382 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Mac Jones has played he's played like 2 good games now. After that one controversial game where like the home fans were like cheering for, basically chanting to bring Bailey Zappi onto the field. Like, was that 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago? Can't remember. Kirk Cousins, 30 completions on 37 attempts, 299 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. The Vikings get the win there, so both of my upset picks for Thanksgiving Day were both wrong, but they both were so close to happening. Like, I was watching the games and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna get it. Like, my crazy picks are actually gonna happen, and then neither of them did, unfortunately for me. But I did say the Cowboys would beat the Giants, and I finally get my first win here. 28-20 is your final score in favor of the Cowboys. I was not able to watch this game. I only saw the first two on Thursday. Daniel Jones, 21 completions on 35 attempts, 228 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. Dak Prescott, 21 completions on 30 attempts, 261 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Crazy. Not often that you see a QB throw 2 picks and still get the win, especially when it's in a close game like this, only winning by 8 points. I guess thankfully for Prescott, neither of those came back the other way for a pick 6, but still. Not often you see an 8-point game where the winning QB has 2 picks. It's usually going the other direction. I said the Titans would beat the Bengals. They did not. You get a Bengals victory here by 4, 20-16. And they have Jamar Chase coming back off of injury next week. So next week you have Jamar Chase back in the lineup, Joe Burrow's favorite weapon. Although T. Higgins has been, filling in great in his absence. T. Higgins has been pretty good all season, but yeah, so Jamar will be back. That'll be huge for the Bengals. Joe Burrow, this game has 22 completions on 37 attempts, 270 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. Ryan Tannehill, 22 completions on 34 attempts, 291 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. What's crazy is like one of the crazier fumble plays I've seen is Derrick Henry catches the ball, makes a big gain, fumbles, but then the fumble is recovered by a Tennessee player, and then they run it in to the end zone for the touchdown. It's not often that you see a fumble. Well, usually you see fumbles recovered by the offense, and then returned for a touchdown is the funny bit there. That happened this game. Okay. I said that the Dolphins would beat the Texans. You had Kyle Allen in for the Texans at QB, and Tua Tagovailoa and the Dolphins continue to roll. They are now 8-3-0, first in the AFC East. They win this game 30-15. Kyle Allen, 26 completions on 39 attempts, 215 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and there's also a fumble, defensive return touchdown, against the Texans. So the Texans offense did not look great in this game. They got completely shut out 30-0 in the first half, and they got all their points in the second half exclusively. Tua Tagovailoa, 22 completions on 36 attempts, 299 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. Not the greatest game from Tua, but honestly, he didn't have to do too much. Like 22 completions, 299 yards, like it sounds like a lot. But watching this game, to me, like Tua kind of just seemed like quiet. Like he knew they kind of had this game in the bag, so he was kind of just playing it safe. It felt like, at least to my eyes. This is a crazy line, though. This shows how good Vegas odds makers can be. Miami was a 14.5 point favorite. They won by 15. They were a 14.5 point favorite. So definitely some people there on that bet. That was a big money maker for Vegas right there. A lot of people lost out on this game. Okay, now to just the weirdest game. One of the people are saying, like, if you watched Lamar play, like, because he's a high QB rating, but in my opinion, Lamar Jackson looked terrible this game. I said the Ravens would beat the Jags. The Jags end up winning this game by a single point, 28-27. To me, it looked like Lamar Jackson had a really bad game, but some people were saying like he didn't, and it was just like the guys around him, and he himself was actually good. Because he has like a shockingly high QB rating for the sort of game this was. But man, I mean, I never expected the Jaguars to beat the Ravens. Now it took like a hero play fourth quarter and then a 2-point conversion, and they only win by 1, which is like one of the ballsiest 2-point conversions I've ever seen, because you just kick it. I mean, you kick it there and you get, you go to OT, basically. But if you miss up the 2-point conversion, then you're down a point, right? You usually see 2-point conversions when a team is like up by quite a bit and they're just trying to pad their lead a little bit. Or, you have to go for the 2 to tie it. The extra point isn't enough, but this was like an end of the game situation. And they go for 2 instead of just going for the tie. And then the Ravens actually had a field goal attempt after that ended up being just ever so slightly short, which is really weird for Tucker. He's usually bearing those long attempts. So, yeah, the Jaguars just avoid the OT on a really ballsy 2-point conversion play. Lamar Jackson, 16 completions on 32 attempts, 254 yards, 1 TD, 0 interceptions. Lamar Jackson did not have any rushing touchdowns this game. No, he did not. Trevor Lawrence, one of his best games of the season. Not as good as that multi-touchdown game he had. What was that game? He had one game early in this season that he looked really good in. I'd say this is probably his second best game of the season, but this is probably his best win as far as the team he's playing goes. 29 completions on 37 attempts, 321 yards, 3 TDs, 0 interceptions, almost a perfect QB rating from Trevor Lawrence. Crazy game. Alright, I said the Bears would beat the Jets. Zach Wilson got benched. He had the team wasn't liking his attitude. Whatever, he got benched. Mike White was starting, and the Bears have kind of been rolling a little bit, so to me, this seems like it should theoretically be an easy win for the Bears. But wow, the Jets smoked the Bears 31-10. Now, Justin Fields was hurt. I didn't realize Justin Fields was hurt when I made the prediction, or else I maybe would have leaned Jets here, but I felt like you're starting Mike White in this game. Maybe even with Chicago's backup, I would have been fine with it. Trevor Siemian for Chicago, 14 completions on 25 attempts, 179 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Mike White, 22 completions on 28 attempts, 315 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. QB rating of 149.3. 149.3. Question. Who do you think is the starting quarterback for the New York Jets next season? Is it Zach Wilson or is it Mike White? Because I have a sneaking suspicion Mike White is going to be their starting QB and Zach Wilson might be getting traded. That's my sneaking suspicion, but we'll see. I said the Broncos would beat the Panthers. I said that I think my words were that the Panthers are the only team I am confident in the Broncos being able to beat. Broncos had the lowest odds I've ever seen for a winning team to have. The closing odds were Denver by half a point. Half a point. I am never, the rest of this season, the next 5 weeks, I am not predicting the Broncos to win another game. They are 3-8. The odds are in my favor that if I pick against the Broncos, I will be correct. Every time I have tried to have some amount of confidence in the Broncos and Russell Wilson, they have let me down. They are trash. Wilson is trash. They can't even beat the Panthers. No offense, Panthers fans. 23-10 is your final score in favor of the Panthers. Russell Wilson, 19 completions on 35 attempts, 142 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. Sam Darnold, 11 for 19, 164 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. Sam Darnold had one of the craziest rushing touchdowns I ever seen. Sam Darnold rushes up the middle. He gets tackled. Sam Darnold fumbles. Sam Darnold recovers his own fumble. Touchdown, Carolina. Just crazy. Crazy game. Crazy moment. And the thing about this game, too, is that Broncos had 3 points up until the end of the fourth, basically. Russell Wilson gets a short little dump-off red zone touchdown that doesn't matter at the end of the game. Carolina probably let him have it and make him feel better. Like, what a... I'm so done with this Broncos team, man. As a Seahawks fan, I'm ecstatic about the trade, but this is going to go down in history books like one of the worst trades ever for Denver. Like one of the worst trades in NFL history. The Buccaneers beat the Browns, that's what I said, but Jacoby Brissett had other things to say. The Buccaneers are now 5-6, still first in the NFC South. This game goes to overtime in Cleveland, and this is the last time, probably, that we see Jacoby Brissett as the starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. Because Deshaun Watson, his suspension is now up, and Deshaun Watson should be, barring anything, the starting quarterback next week for the Cleveland Browns. And Jacoby Brissett got a nice little standing ovation as he left the field, the fans showing him support and love. Yeah, man, I mean, I feel like Jacoby's been solid for the Browns. They win this game over Tampa 23-17. Tom Brady in this game went 29 for 43, 246 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Jacoby Brissett, 23 completions, 37 attempts, 210 yards, 1 TD, 1 pick. That last touchdown being the one that ties the game, sends it to overtime. Then Nick Chubb gets the rush in overtime to win it. Crazy game, didn't hit the over-under. Tampa Bay was favored. Didn't happen. And as you can see, I am in a sea of red. All November they were talking about a red wave, and I think I have found where it went. It went to my predictions. That's where the red wave is. Okay, Seahawks beat the Raiders. I tend not to try to inject too much of my personal feelings on a game in these reviews. I like to try to remain impartial. That forward progress call, which denied the Seahawks a fumble in the fourth quarter, in my opinion, single-handedly cost the Seahawks this game. Did the Seahawks play well? No. You're playing the 4-7 Las Vegas Raiders. They've been terrible all season. Geno Smith has been one of the best quarterbacks in the league. You have Kenneth Walker, who is one of the best running backs in the league, probably going to win the Offensive Rookie of the Year. there is no excuse to lose to this team. You have to play better. I accept that. But that forward progress call in the fourth quarter was made so fast. And then they reviewed DK's catch for like 30 minutes after that. And they're like, oh, this is a big call. It could change the outcome of the game. We can't, we have to take our time. But they literally called that forward progress to cancel out the fumble like immediately. Whereas they took like 20-30 minutes reviewing DK's catch, if it was a catch or not. So the game goes to overtime. Final score 40-34 in favor of the Raiders. Jacobs breaks off this 86-yard run to end the game. I mean, it's whatever, but Seahawks are now officially out of the playoffs. I want to be optimistic and say they can get back into it, but the wildcard spots are now held like entirely by the NFC East. So I don't know. After the start the Seahawks had, I really thought this could like be a good season for them. Maybe not Super Bowl season, but I was thinking maybe conference final for the Seahawks. I don't know. Derek Carr goes 25 for 36, 295 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Derek Carr did not have a great game. Josh Jacobs won them this game. Derek Carr did not. Geno Smith, 27 completions and 37 attempts, 328 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. And the thing is, like, the Seahawks defense has been, to start the year especially, was really good. But you're giving up 229 yards to Josh Jacobs. Now I know Josh Jacobs is good, but you're giving up 229 yards to a single player as like a defensive unit. That is not acceptable, especially when your O-line is only allowing 65 yards going the other way. Like, the Seahawks O-line was terrible this game, completely terrible. Moving on, I said that the Cardinals would beat the Chargers. Let's add another one to the L column. They almost did. Final score is 24-25. They were winning right up until the end of the game, and this is another ballsy 2-point conversion attempt. Instead of kicking it and accepting the tie, the Chargers go for 2. They get the 2-point conversion. 25-24 is your final score. Justin Herbert, who'd been stinking it up for the last 2-3 weeks, especially against the Chiefs, decides to become Mahomes against the Cardinals. 35 completions for 47 attempts, 274 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Kyler Murray, 18 completions on 29 attempts, 191 yards, 2 TDs, 1 interception. Didn't watch that game, but frustrating. At least I finally get into the green here. I said the Chiefs would beat the Rams. Thank God they did. 26-10 is your final score in favor of the Chiefs. You have Bryce Perkins in at QB with Stafford hurt. He goes 13 for 23, 100 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Patrick Mahomes, kind of a quiet game for Mahomes, especially because the Rams defense, especially at this point in the season when they're all but eliminated from the playoffs, isn't that great. 27 for 42, 320 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. This is another great Vegas line here. Your final odds were Kansas City by 15.5 points. They won by 16 points. Right on that over. This game is another one that Vegas made a ton of money on, for sure. Falcons versus Commanders. I said that the Commanders would win, and they did. Commanders kind of rolling a little bit. Taylor Heineke's kind of got that swag right now. Final score 19-13 in favor of the Commanders. Marcus Mariota goes 15 for 25, 174 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Taylor Heineke, 14 completions for 23 attempts, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Alright. I said the Niners would beat the Saints. The Niners completely shut out the Saints 13-0. 13-0 with an over-under of 43.5. Missed that one by 30.5 points there. This was kind of a boring game. I was flicking around, I saw a little bit of this, but this was such a boring game. 13-0, Andy Dalton, 18 for 29, 204 yards, no touchdowns or interceptions. Jimmy Garoppolo, 26 completions on 37 attempts, 222 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. I mean, your total yards here, 317 to 260. Yeah, I don't know. Just kind of felt like just a boring game to me. But Niners easily now in the driver's seat for the NFC West, as much as that pains me to say as a Seahawks fan. So Packers beat the Eagles, that's what I said. And man, this game was back and forth, but the Eagles end up winning it at the end. Aaron Rodgers leaves this game with a rib injury. And honestly, he didn't look that great before he got hurt. He looked kind of old in this game. Aaron Rodgers had 11 completions on only 16 attempts, 140 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Now, Jalen Hurts also didn't throw that much. Like, if you're a fan of big passes, this was not the game to watch. Jalen Hurts, 16 for 28, 153 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. But, yeah, those 2 picks from Rodgers, not good. But, like I said, Rodgers goes down with a rib injury. Jordan Love comes in at the 4th quarter, gets a few snaps. Jordan Love gets a touchdown. I don't have his stats in front of me, but Jordan Love gets a passing touchdown at the end of the game. And, you guys know, if you guys are ever on like NFL Twitter or NFL Reddit, you know how Packers fans can be. Packers fans have been on Aaron Rodgers since the preseason. They have been criticizing him all season long. And now you have Jordan Love come in and immediately throw a touchdown pass. Packers fans today have been wild, saying like, trade Aaron, it's Jordan's team now, all this stuff. And then you have Pat McAfee. He was talking today like, Aaron Rodgers just might retire. Like, if he's hurt, if he's, this might be the last time. Maybe it's the last time we see Aaron Rodgers in a Packers jersey. He could be playing for another team next season, but it might be the last time we see Aaron Rodgers on a football field, and it's him going off hurt. Me personally, I think the retirement claims are maybe a little far-fetched. It did seem that this offseason, with the Jeopardy stuff and the podcast he was doing, he may be like getting ready for a life after football, but I don't know if he's there yet. It's possible. But I could definitely see Aaron Rodgers being traded. He has been very outwardly discontent all season long with the Packers. And our final game of the day, currently going on. Nope, it just finished. And I end with an L. This is terrible. I literally have to get more than 60% 1% every week to raise my average, and I went 5 for 16. This is easily my worst week ever. I don't know how I got this many of these games wrong. Indiana was a 1.5 point favorite, and they lose by 7 to the Steelers. The Steelers, who are 4th in the AFC North and who are 4-7. And if it wasn't for the third quarter, they would have lost this game by 24-3. 24-17 is your final score. Kenny Pickett to 20 completions on 28 attempts, 174 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 picks. Matt Ryan, 22 for 34, 199 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. The Colts are embarrassing. Another team I'm not going to predict away anymore this season. This is bad. This is a bloodbath. I do not know how I did this bad. Half these picks seemed safe. I knew my Thursday picks were wild. I was gonna accept like having 3 to 5 wrong this week, but I got 5 right. I went 5 for 16. This is so bad. I don't know how this happened. Sorry, I had to go get my calculator. Alright. Calculator. 5 divided by 16 is 31%. 31%. Alright, so now we're at 104.5 out of 180. Out of 180. This is gonna be bad. This one's gonna hurt. Divided by 180. 58%. 58% on the season. Not good. I cannot afford to have another week like this ever again. But there are season totals. Hopefully I can bounce back next week. We have the predictions video going up on Wednesday as always. I hope you guys liked the video. Love to hear any comments you have about this week of the NFL down below. Try to go through the comments once a week or so. I've been doing that over the last couple days. If you liked the video, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this almost every single day. Until next time, guys. Bye-bye.